Better Sunday sa ating lahat. Kumusta kayo po mga Filipinos? Kababayan ko po dito sa Kota Kinabalu o dito sa Sabah, throughout Malaysia. Kumusta tayo po? And I would like to wish each and every one of you, mga kababayan, kapatid, kaibigan dito sa Malaysia, ang mga Malaysian friends natin, and of course, ang mga overseas Filipino workers who are following itong Nick The Real Talk with Nico, as well as ang mga kababayan, kapatid, and kaibigan natin dyan po sa Pilipinas. I would like to say, greet sa inyong lahat po, no? Apart from greeting you Happy New Year, I also want to greet each and every one of us po. Happy Three Kings po, no? Because I was made to understand since I was a young boy, ang Three Kings will always come at the first Sunday of the year. First Sunday of January. So today is the first Sunday of January. So ibig sabihin po, we are celebrating mga Kristiyano, no? Mga Christians, those embracing the Roman Catholic faith, no? And mga iba pang mga Kristiyano. Now we are celebrating itong sabihin natin Three Kings, Happy Three Kings po. Happy Three Kings sa ating lahat. And malapit na po. Next month, we are going to observe another New Year celebration, and that is the Chinese New Year, Kong Si Fa Chai. Kong Si Fa Chai po. Kailan ba yun ang Chinese New Year, no? Kailan ba daw yun ang Chinese New Year? If I'm not mistaken, ang Chinese New Year, first day of Chinese New Year will be January 17. And ang last day ng Chinese New Year, we call it Chap Gome po, will be on March 3rd. Chap Gome, the last day of Chinese New Year. Talking about last day of celebration po, are you aware that itong Christmas natin po, no? 2025, kailan ba ito mag-end ang Christmas natin? Sabi nila, it will end during the Three Kings celebration. But last Sunday, when I attended Mass po, sabi ang pari namin dito po sa Sacred Heart, Kota Kinabalu Sacred Heart po, sabi niya po, the celebration, the last day of Christmas, will be on January 11. January 11 po. So, ibig sabihin, hanggang ngayon po, pwede pa din tayo. We can still greet a Merry Christmas to each and every one of us, no? Merry Christmas, Happy New Year. Sabihin natin itong Three Kings, Happy Three Kings. And then pag dating naman sa second month of 2026, that will be February, may dalawang okasyon na naman po, no? Dalawang okasyon. And prepare tayong mga damit natin. Dapat red ang mga damit natin po. Dahil sa February 14, Valentine's Day po. So, ibig sabihin, ang damit natin dapat pula, red po. And then, of course, after 2 days, no? 14, 15, 16, 14, 16, 15, 16, and the following day, 17 po, mag-start na po ang 15 days Chinese New Year. Alright? So, okay? So, umpisa na tayo po sa programa natin, Nick The Real Talk with Nico. Okay, I have a video clip dito po para sa ating lahat. And I want you to listen to this video clip. Kasi importante ito po. May mga puntos talaga po, no? May mga puntos talaga si Senator, si Senator Rodante Marcoleta po. Ang puntos niya po is he explained po why he voted, ang vote no niya po, he voted for no ang 2026 national budget last December 29 yata yun po, no? When ang both the Congress, ang House of Representatives and at the same time ang Senado signed ang budget, no? Bicameral committee report, and it will be digitally transmitted to the President for the President to study, scrutinize, and kung may dahilan, i-veto siya po ang some of the items which karamihan and many Filipinos and mga lawmakers po are questioning kung sakali this is the time for him to veto, no? To veto po. And he is expected to sign ang GAA po, General Appropriation na bukas yun po, January 5. So, it means if we will sign ang GAA, General Appropriation na or bukas po, ibig sabihin, it will turn into law, and then 15 days gazetted, it must be published, and yun na po ang budget ng 2026 national budget ng Pilipinas. So let's see po, it's very important bukas po, let's see whether President Ferdinand Bongbong Marcos will sign itong GAA bukas. I will monitor ang mga events dyan po sa Maynila, and whatever updates mayroon tayo tungkol ito sa GAA, tungkol sa presidente po, I will make sure that ang mga followers natin dito po sa Nick Talk, Daily Talk with Nico, you will be properly informed. So, okay. Let's put aside muna, sandali lang po, let's put aside muna ang itong budget natin po. Ang sabihin natin, ang explanation ni Senator Rodante Marcoleta regarding why he voted for no dyan po sa bicameral community report. Later on na yan po. Sandali lang po. Give me few minutes po because I really want to pass this message po not only para sa mga Malaysiano but also mga Filipinos dito sa Malaysia, be it in West Malaysia or dito po sa Sabah or dyan po sa Sarawak. I just want to pass the message and remind them as well ang mga kaibigan natin, kababayan, kapatid at kaibigan natin dyan po sa Pilipinas and those overseas Filipino workers and other nationalities po. You know, we just launched, ang Malaysia just launched officially ang Visit Malaysia 2026 po. Kailan ba yun? Kahapon ba yun? Third or second? So now, ang Malaysia is promoting ang Visit Malaysia Year 2026. Punta kayo dito po. Maganda ang Malaysia po. If you want to experience ecotourism life, no? Punta kayo dito po sa Sabah. Sa Sabah, sa Sarawak. Dahil po, kung sa Sabah kayo po, we promote ang Sabah po as Ocean Deep Mountain High. Bakit Ocean Deep Mountain High? It is because mayroon tayo dito po, one of the top 10 scuba diving spot. Worldwide dito, mayroon tayo dito po sa Sabah and we call it the Sipadan Island. Ang ganda po. I dive, I think 2 or thrice dyan po, scuba diving po. Ang ganda po. You can see a lot of fishes. You can see the wonders of underwater world. Maganda po. Mga isda doon. Everything is nice. Totally different from above the water. And very nice island. Very nice island po. And not only Sipadan is a famous diving spot sa mga Malaysiano or mga Sabahans po. But mayroon pa mga iba-ibang island resorts doon po wherein you can do snorkeling and sabihin natin diving, scuba diving. Now from Kota Kinabalu to Semporna is another district. You can fly, you can fly to Tawau from Kota Kinabalu and then Tawau to Semporna. And then you take another speedboat ride. I think it's another 45 minutes po for you to reach ang Sipadan Island. It's a beautiful place. Beautiful place po. Huwag natin kalimutan po ang Sabah if you want to go for diving or scuba diving or snorkeling. And when you want to go mountain hiking, climbing, now, this is the place. Sabah is the place po for you. Because mayroon tayong dito po ang Mount Kinabalu. Ang majestic view of Mount Kinabalu. Mount Kinabalu is the tallest mountain in Southeast Asia po. And we have quite a number of visitors throughout the year. Throughout the year dito po sa Sabah. Mainly just to go and climb ang Mount Kinabalu. Mount Kinabalu po. That's a very nice experience, adventure po. Even ang mga senior citizens, no? They're also encouraged, no? Encouraged to climb. Kasi ilan na mga senior citizens successfully managed to climb. Except ako po, I never dared to climb Mount Kinabalu. Despite of me staying in Sabah for more than 4 decades already po. No? Wala tayo dyan po. No? Wala tayo dyan when it comes to mountain climbing. And anyway, I covered a lot of events, Mount Kinabalu mountain climbing events po, activities po, yearly ito dito sa Sabah. But hanggang sa National Park na lang ako po, I never go up. Mga colleagues ko po, they went up. No? They went up. That includes also, even my wife already climbed, I think, once or twice, they already climbed Mount Kinabalu. But ako po, I don't dare. I don't dare. Hanggang sulat na lang tayo. Anyway, okay. Visit Malaysia year 2026, and last Thursday, during the official launching of Visit Malaysia year 2026, ang mga pasahero dyan po sa Ninoy International Airport, I think there were something like 157 passenger bound for Kuala Lumpur. No? They were given welcoming ceremony po before boarding ang flight ng Malaysian Airlines bound for Kuala Lumpur. No? Maganda ang treatment sa kanila po, and that marks Filipinos coming down to Malaysia. To Malaysia. Ang Malaysia last year recorded, if I'm not mistaken, the highest in Southeast Asia countries. Recorded something like 28 million foreign visitors or foreign arrivals in Malaysia, throughout Malaysia po. Throughout Malaysia. 28 million tourist arrival. I think next is, if I'm not mistaken, Vietnam ba yun o Thailand? But ang pinakamababa talaga po, tourist arrivals, foreign arrivals po, sa mga countries sa Southeast Asia, ang Pilipinas. I think ang Pilipinas did not even hit 3 million. 3 million foreign tourist arrivals po sa Pilipinas last year, 2025. Why? What happened? Despite all the beautiful beaches na mayroon tayo dyan po sa Pilipinas, bakit ano nangyari po? Bakit wala ang mga turista? Is it because ang problema natin sa korupsyon? Mahal ang, sabihin natin, ang bilihan dyan po. Ang accommodation, mahal compared to other countries. Like if you go to Vietnam, ngayon, murang-mura po. May mga packages pa sila po, murang-mura. In fact, I saw some video clips po. Mga tourists, Filipino tourists went to other countries like Vietnam po, and they were saying na mura to go and visit Vietnam. Singapore, yes, it is expensive. Hong Kong, it is expensive. And because of the exchange rate. And Bali is one place. No? Maganda din po ang tourist arrivals nila po, ang record nila. But except for Philippines po, no? Hindi tayo naabot ng 3 million yata, if I'm not mistaken. Correct me if I'm wrong. Ang Sabah itself, ang state ng Sabah, for your information, 2025 recorded tourist arrivals, no? Foreign arrivals, hindi domestic, foreign arrivals po. We registered something like 3.5 million tourist arrivals sa Sabah alone. Sa Sabah alone po. And this year, being Visit Malaysia year 2026, ang Sabah government is forecasting, they will try their level best to hit 4 million tourists for 2026. And optimistic ang gobyerno po. Optimistic ang gobyerno to hit that target. Alright? So, okay. So, ganito po. That's the news that I want to pass sa mga viewers ko po dito sa Nick Talk, the Real Talk with Nico. Visit Malaysia year 2026. come and visit to Malaysia. Come and visit. You will not regret your holiday here. Ha? Hindi lang sa Kuala Lumpur po, punta din kayo dito po sa Sabah. Maganda po ang Sabah. Wala tayong problema sa Sabah po as long as you are properly documented. Ha? When we talk about food, wala tayong problema po dahil anything you can eat here. Although this is a Muslim country, na, but ang Sabah po, na, ang Sabah, we serve also pork. No? May mga Chinese restaurants serving porks. Mga Muslims restaurants, they don't serve porks. We have churches, different kinds of churches. Huh? Different kind of churches po. You can go and pray. Mga Hindus, they can come. Anybody, any religion can come here. No? Walang restriction po. Ang mga Sabahans are very friendly. The way they talk, ang lengguwahe nila po, ang dialect, ang language ng Malayo, at saka ng mga Sabahans po, hindi tayo mahirapan mga Pilipino dahil almost similar po. I'll give you one example. How do you call chicken sa Tagalog? Manok. Dito sa Sabah, we also call it manok. Okay? We also call it manok. So, ganun yan po. Wala tayong problema po. And we have flights. We have flights from Kota Kinabalu to Manila. Less than 2 hours flight lang ito po. No? Less than 2 hours. And if you book early, then mura po ang airfare. Mayroon naman, kung nandyan kayo sa Southern Mindanao, may ferry tayo po from Zamboanga City to Sandakan. What other things you see? May mga orangutan na rehabilitation center tayo dito po. Maganda mga beaches dito. But if you're in Sabah, do not miss ang orangutan rehabilitation center dyan po sa Sandakan. For scuba divers, go to Semporna, and you won't be able to say that you visited Sabah if you don't come to visit Kota Kinabalu. A very beautiful place po. Very beautiful city. The only city in Sabah. Lone City ito po. Alright. So, next topic natin po is about the national budget. As what I said, na bukas expected si BBM, President Ferdinand Bongbong Marcos, will be signing the General Appropriation Act. And let's see po if there are some items that he will be vetoing, mag-veto siya po, no? Diyan po sa BICAM committee report submitted by submitted by itong Congress, House of Representatives at ang Senado po. Let's see po kung mayroon po, no? May mga question mark dyan po, mga tao, and it was submitted to him, to the President, last December 29, and may enough time siya po to study, scrutinize everything po. In fact, sabi pa ang Malacanang spokesperson, si Undersecretary or USEC, Claire Castro, na walang tulog daw si BBM po because he will make sure that he will read, study, scrutinize talaga ang budget po before signing the General Appropriation Act. Let's see po what will happen tomorrow. Okay, let's go now to the video clip that I mentioned earlier, si Senator Rodante Marcoleta po. Bakit he did not vote for yes sa BICAM committee report po? And hindi lang siya mag-isa po, who did not sign, dami din po, like Senator Aimee Marcos, mga opposition na senators, they did not also sign. But anyway, nag-focus ako kay Senator Rodante Marcoleta dahil po maganda ang mga puntos niya po. Klaro na klaro. In fact, parang he grilled ang Senado po. Ang Senado. Anyway, kayo na bahala po. Kunting mahaba ito. No? I think it's around 10 minutes or 11 minutes po. But listen carefully po. Listen carefully. Maganda po ang mga puntos ni Senator Rodante Marcoleta. Let's watch and listen to this. Nandito na po.
Today as part to uplift and protect the welfare of our people by ensuring that this 2026 budget will be a million light years away from the controversial 2025 General Appropriations Act, tagged as the most corrupt, the most scandalous, and the most anomalous budget the Philippines has ever had in years. Mr. President, my no vote is anchored on concrete audit findings, fiscal patterns, and policy distortions surrounding various financial assistance programs or ayudas. I may not be part of the bicameral conference committee, but I have faithfully participated in scrutinizing critical aspects of this budget. From the committee hearings, sinamahan natin ang napakasipag nating chairman of the Finance Committee, Senator Sherwin Gatchalian, hanggang sa isa lang na dito sa plenaryo ang committee report. Let me be clear at the outset, Mr. President, I voted in favor of the Senate committee report. I supported our Senate version because it reflected hours of rigorous scrutiny during committee hearings and plenary debates, where we collectively tried to correct the mistakes of the past, particularly those that plagued the 2025 budget and the corrupt and rotten system that gave birth to and proceeded from it. However, come the bicameral conference committee deliberations, tila bumalik sa dating forma ang mga alokasyon na maingat nating binantayan. I commend the move of both houses in acceding to the call of the people to have a transparent and open bicameral conference, and in giving the largest allocations to education, health, and agriculture as mandated by our Constitution. Yet despite these praiseworthy actions, it seems that we have let our guards down in deterring provisions prone to abuse and political patronage. Mr. President, I am not against helping the poor. I have always fought for them. The state has the constitutional duty to assist vulnerable sectors in pursuit of social justice. But after decades of pouring billions into short-term assistance, we cannot deny that the current system of socio-economic interventions is not lifting out our people from poverty. It is merely managing it, and poorly at that. From the start, I have repeatedly expressed my position on the proliferation of ayuda programs. No matter how noble our intentions are, Mr. President, the outcomes fall short of what we envisioned. After years of pouring billions into short-term assistance, the hard truth remains. The lives of our people are not improving. Worse, the number of Filipino families who consider themselves poor continue to rise. The data are unmistakable, Mr. President. The September 2025 Social Weather Station survey revealed that 50% or at least 14.2 million Filipino families consider themselves poor, 1% higher than the 49% previously recorded just 3 months earlier. In 2024, the annual average for self-rated poor families stood at 57%, while both 2023 and 2022, the average was 48%. Even more alarming, as of November 5, 2025, about 22% of Filipino families experience involuntary hunger, going hungry with nothing to eat, at least once in the past 3 months. The highest level recorded since 1998, outside the pandemic. Mr. President, these are not abstract statistics. These are lived realities. And they beg the question, if ayuda is working, why are more Filipinos continue to be hungry and poor today? AIX, maifif, tupad. Samutsari na ang naimbentong dagdag na listahan ng mga ayuda. Iba't ibang termino rin ang nagagamit. Ngunit patuloy lamang itong naaabuso at nagagamit pang politika. At hindi ito haka-haka lamang, Mr. President. Ang Commission on Audit na mismo ang nagsabi Noong 2024 COA audit report, binatikos ang 4.157 milyong AX disbursements na inilabas kahit kulang ang mga dokumento. Ilang DSWD field officers din ang nag-ulat ng mababang utilization rates. Non-compliance sa payment schedules at weak validation ng mga beneficiaries, creating serious risks of overestimated targets and improperly screened recipients. COA further reported a duplication between AX and ACAP, allowing multiple availments by the same beneficiaries, assistance granted to above minimum wage earners and college students, repeated assistance within short periods from different offices, and the non-implementation of 168 out of 288 prior audit recommendations. Yet here we are again. The Bicameral Conference Committee has finished off with a greater budget for the AYUDA programs, including an additional 4.8 billion for AX, bringing the total to 63.9 billion. A total of 22.44 billion for TUPAD, after the Senate has deliberately reduced it to 13.08 billion, or third reading from the House proposal of 21.03 billion. The revival of MyFIF at 56.6 billion, despite the Senate's earlier attempt to shift to zero balance billing to curb politically mediated medical assistance and push genuine universal healthcare reform. And the insertion of 10 billion for the presidential assistance to farmers and fisherfolk, despite its deliberate removal under the Senate committee report. These four AYUDA reforms, or programs alone, now totaling 147.9 billion, are just among the many other discretionary assistance programs. The same pattern emerges in the restoration of unprogrammed appropriations. After initial assurances that these standby funds would be scaled back, the bicameral committee reversed its course and restored unprogrammed appropriations to 243.4 billion, even higher than the House-approved level, as far above the Senate's reduced version of 174.55 billion. This is recklessness. Mr. President, when we place massive increases in AYUDA and standby funds side by side, a troubling picture emerges. We're expanding both the sub-channels of political patronage and the fiscal backdoors that allow them to be financed, all while claiming to pursue reform and discipline. This is impunity. Mr. President, other countries show us that assistance can be productive and empowering. Vietnam, for example, focuses on livelihood-enabling support, such as boats and fuel subsidies for fisherfolk, rather than endless cash handouts that foster dependency. Yet, in this bicameral report, we doubled down on program funds and lump sum assistance instead of redirecting resources toward long-term solutions for food security, jobs, education, and healthcare systems. The Philippines can take it a notch higher by enhancing the implementation of our electricity lifeline rate. Senate Bill number 63, one of my priority bills, Mr. President, aims to exempt all household consuming 200 kilowatt hours of electricity or less. A median of about 1,750 pesos for 5.5 households will only cost the government an estimated 115 billion pesos per year. This provides for a more transparent and targeted assistance for qualified individuals. It should be pointed out that under the 2025 GAA alone, Sir President, 194 billion worth of ayuda was set up for the beneficiaries of PORPIS, MAIB, AX, TUPAD, and ACAP. Senate Bill 63 can lead the way for the re-evaluation of these programs in the future and hopes for lesser reliance on these unviable interventions. After deliberate consideration of this submitted bicameral conference committee report on the disagreeing provisions on House Bill 45A. It is with heavy heart that I cast my no vote, Mr. President. I hope that my good friend Senator Sherwin Gatchalian will find it in the goodness of his heart the reasons why I am objecting to this bicameral conference report. Masakit ang loob ko na mag-object dahil kasama niyo akong nag-umpisa at nagsimula sa pagbusisi nitong 2026 budget.
Alright, yun po, narinig natin ang explanation, ang rason ni Senator Rodante Marcoleta. Bakit po hindi siya nag-vote yes, no? He did not register yes vote sa bicameral committee report po. Ang dami siya mga items he mentioned, and I totally agree with Senator Rodante Marcoleta po. Ang mga pera po, left and right, bigay dito, bigay doon sa ayuda programs po, and nandyan na naman po sa 2026 national budget and program items po, which karamihan, some of the lawmakers po, they totally disagree po, no? They totally mga insertion amendments po. And nakita natin na kung paano ang, although it is made open to the public, for the first time, ang bicameral committee meeting or conference po, medyo magulo sila doon po. But at the end of the day po, may mga questionable items pa rin po. No? May mga questionable items pa rin po. And both the Congress and the Senate, they sign and pass it to the President for further study and scrutiny po. So let's see, bukas, kung anong mga latest, kung may mga changes po dyan sa national 2026 national budget ng Pilipinas. Alright? So, importante yan po. That is the reason why I decided to share with you itong explanation ni Senator Rodante Marcoleta. No? So, siguro hanggang dito na lang ang programa natin. Once again, I would like to greet each and every one of you. Happy Three Kings, no? Happy or Merry Christmas, kasi hanggang January 11 pa ang last day ng Christmas. And Happy New Year din sa ating lahat, no? Sana lang po the 2026 New Year will be a better one compared to 2025. Dahil 2025 po, ganon po, roller coaster, very bumpy ang situation ng mga Filipinos during the year that was 2025. And sana lang po itong problema natin ng corruption po. Itong corruption. Sana makulong na ang mga magnanakaw. Hindi lang mga small fish, but we want to see ang mga buaya, mga malaking isda, ang mga mastermind po. I don't know if it will happen. But we are hoping that it will happen po. We will see po, no? Kasi sana lang din po ang gobyerno will stop making empty promises po. Instead of talking, why don't they act, no? Turn their words into action po. We always remember that it's better to be part of the solution rather than be part of the problem. So with this, si Nico Fabian once again would like to say thank you very much for making me a part of your day today. Malaysia, Sabah, the Philippines, God bless us all. I'll see you in my next episode. Bye and ingat, Godspeed. I love you all.